To the residents of Boonsburg, I'm now going to school the world on how they have been taught incorrectly by the scientists of the universe. Because whenever they teach about the planets, they always have like the sun here and then all the planets going around it, that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong, but the problem is they always have it going out to the side. And since it's a gravitational field, well, what I realized was, with the Earth specifically, around the Earth we have, magnetic bands that go around, and they create a donut of plasma that's just right around, like a tire, right around it. And so you have the sun here, and then the magnetic wind comes out, and it squeezes against that tire as that tire is rotating. And it just seemed odd to me, because when I look at the planet, I see there are current carrying regions that go across, when we follow the continents, that look very much like motors, the centers of motors, and I realized that since we're within a gravitational field, instead of having the sun and the planets going out, you would then have actually the planets would think they're standing on top of the sun, because that donut is no longer a donut. It will be a tire, an inner tube, full of plasma. So what happens is when this plugged in, this is the sun, and it's sending out its solar wind. Well, the solar wind goes up and down. It's a magnetic force coming out, and the Earth is being held in place magnetically, yet it has going around it this donut of plasma. Now, what you see here is a Boonsburg egg shape for that donut, when in actuality the outer edges are very puffy, and then they get squeezed down. Well, what they're getting squeezed down to reveals the Boonsburg egg is within that donut. So what's happening when it's squeezing, that first of all, it's pushing back against the solar wind. Now, the solar wind is magnetic. You can't bend a magnetic field. Only one thing can: plasma under pressure. Well, that goes and shows why it's going up and down, because as it squeezes, it also pushes back when it gets to its point where it can't be squeezed anymore. But what is also occurring is over here, you have a version of showing you a little bit more of what's happening with the Plasmapause, because if the Earth has current carrying regions that are actually rotating in the center, and you have plasma, a tube of, that tire tube of plasma being squeezed up and down and up, it's squeezing like that, but yet when that part drops, it comes back. So you actually are having a flow of plasma racing around current carrying regions of the planet. Well, what's occurring when plasma flows, it's magnetic. So just like a generator, which a generator has magnets in place and the center spins, well, here the center's spinning, but here the magnets are racing around it, which are creating electricity within the planet, which is then being stored in the center of the planet, which is basically an Edison battery, which is molten nickel iron. It's a molten nickel iron in the center, and it has a positive and a negative, and it discharges 2 times a year, which is during the auroras. And I can explain all that at another time, but that's just so you can see that when you squeeze it, the plasma has to go somewhere. It races right around. Thank you.